All our sponsors are within the real estate business. Housing finance, comfort homes, they're all within the real estate industry, and each and every one of them is trying to make the housing industry a better place for us. Of course, as they also make a living of the same industry. A lot of us do not know the legal implications that stand around real estate. And that is why experts within the property law fraternity are there to guide us. And today, as part of our seminar, we have a property law expert in place to guide us and give us an insight of what are the legalities that come within or lie within the real estate industry. Our guest speaker, who is a property lawyer and developer, works with MD. She's the MD of Pyramid Housing Uganda, one of our sponsors for the evening. She is the proprietor and host of the Property Hour Show. Ladies and gentlemen, this evening, our guest speaker is Viola K. Karamani. Viola, you're welcome.
Thank you, Lady MC. I don't know where you got those details from. Maybe you are an investigator of the sort, but nevertheless, it's all right. A very good evening, everyone. Our guest of honor, the AD of Housing Finance Bank, and all the other protocol observed. A condominium property law, which is fairly new in Uganda, I would like to appreciate and congratulate Frankina upon today. It is not easy for a lady to break through the property industry. And that is the reason why I thought it visionary to start the property network of women in Uganda. I'll go straight to what I'm expected to break down today. And this is what Frankina's book is talking about. She has tried to break it down all about the property as far as it is the condominium property. I'm not going to go through it because we have the books. I hope at least someone tried to read maybe the preamble or the first and second pages and you know something about it. I don't think there is anyone in the house who is here and they don't know what a condominium is. In case you're there, kindly just read the first page and you're going to know what a condominium property is. This is a very famous kind of housing in the first world. We could mention Europe, the United States, and it is known for one thing. It is known for organized communities. Call it curated. These are communities that must have a direction. It's not a matter of building, but there must be a direction. And that's why I think Uganda felt it prudent to come up with the Condominium Act of 2001. That is why I said it's a fairly new law. We do not know very many silent features that our property owner of the condominium or our property developer of the condominium is supposed to know. But I'm going to just, I hope everyone has read what the condominium housing is. Now, in a few words, when we talk about condominium housing legally, we mean any property as long as it is separately owned by an individual and with shared amenities in the same complex.
Hi, Viola.
Hi, Mr. Adri.
The re-registration of the owners, it's a valid point, but the challenge developers are facing at the moment is, let's say a society has 40 units. So we always have a challenge that one or two customers are not paid, not 100% paid. And it keeps on going for like, let's say 1 year, 2 year, and the homeowners corporation, like the way you said, is already formed. So we always face a challenge like, as a developer, we cannot take the whole list to the registrar to have them registered because we still have one or two clients who have not paid 100%, and it's risky to put their name at the registrar, and what if they pull out at one point? What if they cancel the unit? So I think that is what is stopping at the moment is 100% collections, uh, having all the owners 100% paid. I feel that's the challenge which we are facing at the moment.
Thank you,
So how do we
Hydri.
address that?
Thank you, Hydri. I think the legal mind behind the Condominium Act was very much aware that we're in a world of dates and areas. We can never run away from that. You can never fail to have at least areas in a particular sector. Now, that is why they found it prudent to make sure that they provide a fair ground. And this is what it states. The Act states that upon 50% of sale by the developer, we assume that if you have 100 units and you've sold 50, then legally you can proceed and go through the entire process, form the corporation, register the constitution at the Register of Documents, and then proceed to lands. Now, remember, Hydri still has 10 people who haven't paid, or even he hasn't sold. That onus is on the developer. Imagine even the other 50 people who have registered, they are going to resell. So I don't think it's a big problem, Hydri, because it's already provided for.
Management rules and the corporation. Are those rules entirely formed by the homeowners, or there are guidelines that indicate this is a template for the rules? They can play with this and adjust whatever they want. So I just want to understand that, because I'm trying to picture a scenario where some homeowner associations, or you call them corporations, have probably rules which are not even legal.
Thank you so much. I think you are absolutely right. Imagine entering into an agreement of future management which you are not aware of. What if indeed it's for only women and you are female, and rather you are male? Now, this is what I talked about when I put the onus on the developers, requesting them that the law is kindly asking that they should address these things before you. They are stated in the Act. It's just a matter of incorporating them to what fits your society. But the guidelines are very clear. You could make additions, but you cannot make subtractions. You could make amendments as far as additions are concerned. However, it is as how they are stated in the Act, and you can always modify them to fit in your community, but you cannot subtract what the law says, especially if the law says that every individual owner should contribute to the maintenance of this property, because when the developer put it up, you're supposed to further protect or even add on the value of this property. Now, when you pay a certain condominium fee, which you are going to agree on as owners, but not the developer set for you. Now, you who is an individual unit owner, you are not going to fail to pay. By law, you must pay. But how much you pay is upon you. Thank you. If you is concerned, you can get me on the Rotary International page, and you come, we help the community. Thank you.
One of the major reasons we are here today is for a book launch. And I'm sure each and every one of us is here in support of that book launch atop learning from the seminar. Our book launch on condominium real estate with focus on Uganda is hosted by none other than Miss Apio Frankina. And with this, she offers condominium management services. She has experience in banking. Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker is Miss Apio Frankina, and she's going to delve in the specific topic of condominium real estate. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Winnie. Viola, thank you so much. Thank you all. Thank you for that introduction, Winnie. Viola, that was very educative. Thank you. I felt like my company, Fakrudin and Mr. Hydra on the spot. But thank you, that was wonderful. I think with all that information, I might write another book, Condominium Law. Thank you so much, Viola. I am so passionate about humanity. I think sometimes it's how God makes us. I can't see, I literally want to cry when I see someone suffering. That is why I come so vocally and talk about humanity in real estate. Because most of us are taking out compassion out of the reality. We just look at the next sale. It doesn't matter what we have offered to that client. That is not my problem. Let's bring back compassion into the real estate industry. As realtors, we can do better for this country. We can do better for humanity. Let's offer value for hard-earned money. Some of these people we are dissatisfying got huge loans from the bank and put in that property, which you're playing around with. Let's look at them as human beings. Let's look at these people that withdrew the last coin in their bank account to come and buy from you a condo. Are they happy? Are we doing the right thing? Or we are just aiming at selling and off we are to the next project, to whom it may concern? In our different capacities as realtors, as Ugandans, we can all play a role in this country with one goal in mind, solving the ever-rising housing deficit in this country. Let us not wait for this to become a disaster or a life threat like what we are having with climate change. For us to start taking action, we can begin now. Solving Uganda's housing deficit is possible, but it will take a little more effort from us who are already in this industry. This book is my contribution to this beautiful industry of condominiums. And I wish I had this book when I was joining the condominium industry. Probably I would have had a better relationship with my boss then. This book is simple in English. It will help so much for most of us to understand the condominium industry, people who are involving themselves in the condominium industry, people want to buy, people want to involve themselves in condominium management and all other aspects of condominium. This book is very simply written. It gives you all the processes and procedures. Actually, it's a good addition to the Condominium Act and the Condominium Property Regulation book. If you have this and those two books, you will really understand the Ugandan condominium industry very well. And with those remarks, I would like to say thank you for listening and also recognize the presence of a few family members. My dad over there is a retired general in the army. So he's one of my biggest supporters. Thank you so much, Daddy, for always supporting my ideas. And then I would also like to recognize my husband over here, Mr. Kimara. He was very supportive. He actually gave me the first 3 million to publish this book. Thank you so much. And thank you so much to Madame Kavunga. Madame Kavunga is a very big lady in housing finance, but I'm so grateful to God. And above all, I would like to thank God. Without God, this wouldn't have been possible. And with those remarks, thank you so much for coming. Have a good evening.
This is to say congratulations. I'm sure each and everyone here is very proud of you and the work you've done. Whoever has a question for you, idea in mind about what she was going to speak about. Do we have any questions for our author?
My name is James Beyonce. I am a practicing architect. I'm here by chance. I was invited here by our new friend, Mr. Ali Katende. But I'm actually very glad I am here. If anything, I was about to leave and he convinced me to particularly listen to our author and speaker. And it caused me thinking that sometimes some of the people who are supposed to be in the room are not in the room. If I was to ask by show of hands, how many people here are professionals in the building industry? By show of hands. Are there any architects or engineers? There's barely 5 people in here. And that's part of the problem. In our author's submissions, where these professionals lie in the value chain, maybe later on in the submissions, I was very glad to hear that you were talking about sustainable architectural designs. That was comforting to know that the value of professionals in this entire value chain is somewhere, somehow captured. That notwithstanding, that was a side note. First of all, I want to commend you for the body of knowledge you've added into this industry. I very much love it when people see a problem and immediately they propose a solution. So you went all the way and practically gave us a rule book of some sort, because you're right, there's a huge the deficit is not only in housing, even knowledge on housing, it's simply not there. And it's going to take some of us to cause for some of these gaps to be filled. So I want to commend you on that front. I think it's a step in the right direction. If I look at some of the developers that have not benefited from word of mouth, by the way, I was equally glad you mentioned that. Your development is supposed to speak for itself, where you even have an overflow of clients who are asking you, where are you developing next? We are eager to take your product. I was very eager to hear some of these keywords, and in your submission, you really hit it on the head. So I really want to commend you. This is a step in the right direction, but I am equally sounding the drum that let's not leave the professionals behind in that regard. Thank you.
So my question is very simple. Where can someone who is not here get your book?
This interesting book. I would like to implore you that there are several stakeholders in condominium real estate. Personally, my first employers, my first sweethearts were Fakrodin Properties. So you've inspired me to write a book about accounting in real estate. Because for you, you manage the handover when the client has passed through all this hassle, paying every month. You have to make 20 million, 40 million, okay, all that hassle. Then at the end of the day, you receive them with all the customer care and the like. So that aside, we have currently, our government is so much interested in real estate. On several occasions, we've had our president commenting that he normally sees so many buildings of several fashions and types melting up every day, but he doesn't see the taxes. So personally, currently I'm working with Uganda Revenue Authority, and we are picking so much, keen interest in real estate that we even have, of recent, the government got a separate company to research about this real estate thing, because the landlords are too many, but Uganda, the tax base is still so little. So I would like to request you that if it is possible, you get in touch with your rental unit, because they are key players in the real estate. They actually determine the overall cost base of the apartments the condominium real estate industry is handling. So,
good evening, everyone. Mine is not a question, it's just a vote of thank you. Thank you, Frakina. Thank you for the confidence. Thank you for the time, the resources, and the research. This is what we needed in the market. The sky is not the limit, girl. Keep shining. Thank you so much.
Mr. Semakula, thank you for your questions and remarks. Actually, Madam Kabunga is going to talk a bit on the finances. We already have that in program. We actually thought about it. That is why we gave it to Madam Kabunga to kind of talk about it and assist us to know how an ordinary Ugandan earning probably 1 million per month can own a condominium through whatever means, because they are actually, most of these developers have a slogan of affordability. So if that pricing is not meeting the market price, the target population, then we are having a big problem. Developers need to come up and preach exactly what they are offering. If you're talking about affordability, then your condos have to be affordable. So Madam Kabunga will talk a bit about financing. And then the book talks a bit about, there is a section of defect liability in that book. But I'm sure when you read through, you will understand it better. Although there are several loopholes in the Condominium Act, and one of them is it doesn't give the developer a specific amount of months or years they can give to the clients or to the buyers. The Act just talks about the defect liability period, but it doesn't give a specific amount of time that they can give, and it is given not to individuals. Normally what we do at Fakrodin, there is a time when the contractor has finished his job, he leaves the property in the hands of now the developer, who is his client, who hired him to develop these properties. So what happens is, that time when the developer comes in to manage these properties, that is when now the defect liability starts. If it has begun in August, then next year, August, 1 year defect period, that is when that period will end. But it is determined by the developer. I'm happy that at Fakrodin we give our clients 1 year, which is a lot. That means whatever defect that rises within that 1 year, the developer works on it on his own costs, yeah? So it is a loophole in the Condominium Act, not mentioning the period, because some people are actually giving very little time for this period, which is not good. So maybe the law, I thought Mr. Dramani would be here from Ministry of Lands to take in this, but maybe we have a journalist from New Vision here. Maybe she will write about it and maybe echo it to the responsible ministries, so that we can find a way of maybe amending the Condominium Act and including such loopholes. Working on such loopholes that are existing in it. Thank you so much, Mr. Semakula, for your contribution. And then, Susan, you asked about where the book can be bought. The people in here are lucky. You're buying it at only 30,000, but someone advised me that actually this book might go up to 80,000. And then we are also in talks with the bookshops around to accommodate the book, so that, but we shall communicate through the social media handles. Appeal Frankina or Condominium Group. Those are my social media pages and handles. So we shall communicate when they are available, in which bookshops or in which store. That will be communicated. But in Amazon within this week or next week, we shall have it available. For now, you can contact me on 0773 188 91. And from this launch, the book value price goes up to 50,000. But after that, it might also go high. So we are going to. And then Bridget, from URL, you're talking about the URL rental units. That I need to link up with them. I will speak. I will do that. Since you're here and I have your personal number, I'll call you and we talk and see how we can incorporate it. Thank you so much. Before I do that, I would like to thank so much our sponsors. This will be something for small. Explain that. I would like to thank Calcom. You're here, but thank you so much for supporting this event. All the people who advertise, they actually go to places. The book has space to advertise. That is the only way you can take them to very finance. So when I approach people like Alpha, they do something. housing. Viola, I learned so many things from Viola. Actually, Viola handed over several things to me. She used to do property management. But when she left, I had to step in her into and see how to manage. So I learned a lot. I would call her whenever I'm stuck. I'm like, Viola, now I'm here. What do we do? She would say, this. So I learned so much from her. Thank you so much, Viola. She's MP of Pyramid Housing, and she's really young. I think we are 8. But she's doing so many things. She's actually involved. The person I'm going to introduce right now is someone that really inspires me. When I look at her with her humility, really works on me. She has a very simple in-house finance where she says people have to live well. But when I step in that office, she's very humble. She welcomes me so well. Such kind, Madam Kapuka, when I write to your level, I pray to God that I think that you really to have. Thank you so much for that kind of support you have for women in career. Thank you so much. With those remarks, I'd like to speak to us about what you prepared. Thank you so much.
Some of the reviewers who reviewed the book, our guest speaker, Ms. Viola Karemani, the employers of Frankina, very well recognized, our distinguished guests this evening, ladies and gentlemen, good evening to you all. Good evening. I really feel greatly honored this evening to be invited as the guest of honor at this public launch of the book, which is titled Condominium Real Estate, Ugandan Brick. You know, when I was given this opportunity, I was very happy. First of all, I participated in writing the foreword. For those who have a copy already, you will see that I signed the foreword. And for this opportunity, Frankina, I am so grateful. When I was approached by Frankina to be the guest of honor this evening and to deliver a keynote address and of course launch the book, I did not hesitate to accept the invitation for 2 reasons. When you talk about real estate and housing, I have special sentimental attachment, because to me, housing is one of the basic needs for a human being to survive. And that's why I'm so proud to work with Housing Finance Bank. To me, Housing Finance Bank is a dream come true for me, because when I see the way we touch lives, the way we offer solutions, to give a roof to the vulnerable groups, to those who are able, it gives me a sense of gratification. And so when she approached me, I was very excited. Number 2, Frankina is a friend, and I got to know her through the relationship with the developers. So Housing Finance Bank does not work alone. We work with developers, and we have a relationship with quite a number of them in the market. And Fakrudin is one of those that we are doing great work with. So they develop the condominiums, and then we finance those who are not able to buy the apartments outrightly, or those who don't have cash. So we give them loans. So I interacted with Frankina, and I saw a young, brilliant lady, passionate about real estate. So when she approached me for this event, and because she's a lady, you've heard what Viola said, real estate has been heavily, flooded by men. When you go to sites, construction sites, 98% are men. when you go to different places dealing in real estate, the agents, the brokers, you know, the architects, all these professions, you find there are more men than women. So when she approached me, I was very excited. And when I saw the book, I said, I am so proud of you. I am so proud of you. So perhaps before I talk about Frankina, I would like to extend my appreciation to the parents. And Frankina, thank you for recognizing your dad. Dads are so special to us daughters in this event. All these people who are, I don't know how you feel, but if I were in your shoes, wow, I don't know. I have children, but you know, a child making you proud, you feel like, yes, I did not, you know, educate or invest in her in vain. So thank you for supporting her. Again, ladies and gentlemen, when I see husbands supporting their wives to get their passion, to excel in their careers, I get super excited. Gentlemen, you're a superman. Proud of you. Please continue supporting her. And I want also to thank the employer. Henry is my friend. And again, I got to know him, of course, through the partnership, the working relationship with Fakrudin. A very nice gentleman. I've never seen Henry without a smile. He always smiles and always there to support Ugandans. And no wonder he's really supported Frankina in this journey. There are very few employers that can do that. So you're very special, Hadri, and your team. Please take this appreciation to the rest of the management team at Fakrudin. So why is this book really very important? You know, very many people do not understand the condominium real estate arrangement. Yet there are so many investing in condos every day. We have so many coming up in the greater Kampala metropolitan area. I've seen many coming up in Wakiso, Mukono, and surrounding areas. So, really we need to ensure that people appreciate this. And I heard Viola say, challenging Fakrudin to get out of Kampala and go to, you know, other areas in Uganda. But we need to first deal with the mindset. Let me tell you, I come from Western Uganda. But if you put up condominium units in the West, I don't think people, that they can't fathom the fact that one can own a house in the air. Like, for them, they want a big compound where they can probably in one corner have some goats, have some, you know, some cattle, have this and so telling them that you can own a house in the space, they just cannot fathom it. And I'm sure it applies all the other regions. So even before we think about going out there, out of Kampala, out of the metropolitan area, we need to first deal with the mindset. And I believe your book is going to help in tackling that. But there's a lot more, ladies and gentlemen, that we can do to change the mindset. Perhaps to just talk about the author, I would like to appreciate you, Frankina, for this book. And this has come because of the exposure in the real estate. You have heard that she has worked for a while in the real estate sector, and you are very special because there are so many people who have been in the real estate industry, but they get information, but they don't have the courage to put what you have put out there. So I for the vision and effort which you have put in this investment or in the book which we are launching today. About the book, of course I'm not the reviewer of this book, but the author provides, a general overview of the developments in the real estate sector, and she identifies the critical factors or areas that are of interest in this sector. And I'm just going to point out a few. She talks about the construction stage, the marketing process, the payment process and refunds, the snagging process, and of course the handover. So I believe that this book will enrich our knowledge and enhance our understanding of condominium real estate operations in Uganda. There is no doubt in my mind that this book will serve as a good reference document on the nation's housing market. So I therefore recommend it for general readership, especially to the investors, homeowners, diaspora, and those in authority. I'm glad to see someone from URA, and I heard someone from LAMS was around. Let's take interest in some of these things that Frankina is talking about and see how we can address the housing challenge in Uganda. I'm happy to, for you to mention some of the customers in the diaspora. We have quite a number of customers we are serving that are living in the diaspora across the globe. And most of them, because they appreciate condominium, when they come down here in Uganda, they don't have any challenges buying a unit from Fakudin, from National Housing, and all these developers. So I am happy, Frankina, here that you're going to put this book on Amazon, because then the diaspora community or anyone outside the country, or even in the country, by the way, people no longer read hard copies. So I'm glad that you're providing that option very soon, so that we can have this information as fast as we can. Before I conclude, I would like to talk about Housing Finance Bank. Housing Finance Bank is a bank that has a focus in housing. We started way back in 1960s. We are over 54 years old, and our vision, our purpose, let me first talk about our purpose. Our purpose is to enable home ownership and financial independence. And that's why working with housing finance is a big thing for me, because it aligns with my passion. We have touched so many lives in terms of housing finance solutions, and we continue to do so. We do not just finance condominium flats. We do not just finance the standalone big bungalows. We are now into the affordable housing space. Affordable housing space. Mr. Semakula, you said condominiums alone will not solve the housing problem in Uganda. I totally agree with you. Because when you look at the condominiums that we have at the moment, the cheapest, the very cheapest, I think we'll go for about 85 million. And that is a one-bedroom apartment. But then how many Ugandans can raise 85 million to buy that apartment? So as Housing Finance Bank, we said we are not going to leave anyone behind. We want everyone that has an income to own a home, to have a place called home. And we have come up with a very good solution, which is called incremental housing loan, Zimba Mpola Mpola. And this is targeting Omuntu Wansi. And we have given quite a number of loans to people you can't believe can construct houses. We are dealing with border men. Ladies and gentlemen, beyond the condominium owners that you are targeting. So we are providing solutions from the high segments, those who can buy homes in Loboa, those who can buy the middle, properties, the condominiums, and of course those who are not able to own condominiums, but can build incrementally. So Housing Finance Bank is doing that, and I'm proud to be part of the team that is doing that. I want to talk about some of the other solutions that we give. When you're buying a condominium apartment, Mr. Henry will tell you, please deposit 5%, commit, because you can book off plan before they start constructing. So we've come up with a solution called 100% financing, whereby customers who cannot raise that commitment, we can be able to give the entire loan amount. We give longer periods of 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, so that you can spread the loan amount over a longer period of time, and that gives you affordability so that you can afford that loan and own a home. But that does not mean that when you get money within that time, you don't come and pay off. No. When you get money, you can come and pay off your loan and you go to the next flat. I have seen people do this. So they come, take a mortgage, buy a flat, after 2 years, pay it off, go to the next apartment that Hegre is putting up. He's going to Kasangati, I saw. So you can book a flat at Kasangati, pay it down, pay it up in 1 or 2 years, find out where he's going next, do the same. In about 10 years, you will probably have about 5 apartments in Kampala. So it's doable. We have all these solutions. We have someone here, Charlotte, who is a specialist in mortgage advisory. Please do not leave this place without talking about the mortgage financing solutions. So a deal can be concluded here, by the way. We have the developer, Adri, and we have a housing finance bank. So please do not leave without concluding that deal. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to conclude my address by once again commending the author for this initiative. Writing a book is no mean task, and it's not for the faint-hearted. I know that you must have spent some good time, sleepless nights, trying to put down, think. So you need to have the strength and patience to sit for long hours, put down your thoughts in the proper sequence. Your diction must be good. I have read the book from Kina. For a first timer, you have done very well. So last but not least, you must have the capacity to tolerate criticisms. You've had some suggestions come through.
Allow me to thank Frankina. We met in very unusual circumstances. She took my seat. But anyhow, I said, okay, ladies first, take the seat. Today I met the dad. Surprising, my father-in-law is a general. They are good friends. Life is funny. Then I met the team in housing finance. I tried to meet the ED so many times. Charlotte somehow made sure I don't meet you. Today I got the chance. Two very important issues. One, the interest rates. I understand the people in the diaspora have very good interest rates. I'm here to campaign for them. The problem we have is we don't have security here, especially the nurses and the other groups. I'm trying to develop properties here, but I have very little security here. I have so many nurses back in London, they don't have security. But the bank requires them to have some security to own some property here. I was lucky somehow Charlotte and the team managed to convince the management in the bank to allow me to start developing some few properties here. I request going forward the interest rates be looked at. They are so high for us, and we cannot afford them because we don't have any security in Uganda. But we love Uganda so much. I would like you to look at 4 categories of individuals: the nurses, the teachers, the trade workers, and if possible, the care workers in London. They really want to own a home here. They want to buy condominiums. They have the money to pay off these particular apartments, but they don't have security. We need to find a way of how we can resolve this. Then, my next point is for the developers. Today I was lucky, I came to this conference or meeting abrupt. I'm thinking, is it possible in any way that people who want to develop, someone like me and Idre, can come up with a position where we can finance these projects among ourselves without taking your loans because they have very high interests? Why am I'm looking at it that way because I have the market, he has the expertise. So instead of me coming to the bank to get a loan of maybe 15%, maybe he can come for the loan at 12%. That way, you get some money, he makes some money, the houses go down a little bit. So we get better value for the houses. Then the other problem we're having, and let me allow me to thank Frankina again. Actually, I managed to buy the first book from Frankina. She did not know mine. I've been away for some time, I can say. I didn't have any knowledge of the property industry in the country. She talked to me for about 10 minutes, and everything she was saying to me was new. But I'm putting up so many properties around. 2, you're going to help me make it a success because there are so many of us. This is my friend Faisal, he's lived in London for 15 years. He's only been here for 1 month. James, you saw James is our architect. He's trying to help us get into Uganda. So you're going to help us. Franklin, I'm going to ask your husband to allow me to disturb you. And then today, I got Mr. Today. We've been talking a lot, and I wanted to buy a house. Charlotte took me to a house. She doesn't remember. I told Charlotte, I'm not buying this house. The ceilings are short. To So we had a chat about the ceiling height and everything. And to my surprise, he's like, oh, you're really right. Something needs to change. So as we talk, we learn from each other. And then I'm going to be disturbing him as well. Very much, because I told him he's an expert in the field. We are just learners. We are the small fish on the ground. So we are going to learn from him as well. So allow me, thank you very much, very, very much for allowing me to come here. You sent me the invitation on WhatsApp because you didn't even have a card. Thanks for giving me the first book. You need to sign it for me, and I'm going to make sure I tell everyone about it. The ED, I like your bank. We haven't met. I have met the rest of the team. It's a wonderful bank. Thanks for the diaspora desk. I'm actually marketing you more than you think. Charlotte is aware. I told them I need a free house. I have my reason. They will tell you about it, but I deserve it. So today, let them tell you about it. Please approve it. So thank you very much. Thanks, Franklin. Thanks, the ED, the husband, Papa, and Mr. Eric, and the rest of the team. Thank you very much. Thanks for allowing us to be here.
There's no other hand up, so we can hear from Ms. Peace, and then we can have the launch and the photos and the signing, and then Frankina will autograph all of them.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Semakula, for those comments and observations and requests. Very glad to meet you. I think Charlotte was trying to make sure that she serves you very well. Because usually people who come to me maybe there are just escalations. She has probably not managed to handle your request or your complaint to resolution, and so they escalate to me. But coming to say hello is welcome, because I mean you have very great ideas. I've listened to some of the proposals that you put forward, so I'll be happy to have a chat with you so that we see how to serve these people in the diaspora. Trust me, if there is a bank, because Housing Finance Bank, I didn't talk about our shareholding. We are 100% indigenous. And we have 3 shareholders. The first one is the government of Uganda with 49.2% shares. We have NSSF that has 50% shares. And then National Housing and Construction Company is the minority shareholder with about 0.8%. So when we look at those 3 shareholders, they are passionate about Ugandans owning homes. And so we are aligned in terms of serving Ugandans and ensuring that they have a place called home. So we are so much interested in the Ugandans living in the diaspora. And that's why we set up a diaspora desk. We've been traveling. This year alone, we went to the UK, as in the UK. The MD was in the US. We had a team that went to the Netherlands. We have a team that flew this evening to go to Dubai. And all we are saying is come home. Do not make that money and just, spend it and have fun. Then when you come back home, you have no place called home. So I am very happy to have more engagements with you. And let's put our heads together to see how we can serve those Ugandans living in the diaspora. You talked about security. Now, the property that you're buying is your security. So if there is a nurse or a teacher or anyone in the diaspora interested in buying a flat from Haiti, interested in buying a property, that is the very property that we take
as security. So we don't need any other security unless maybe they need more money beyond what that property can accommodate. But if they want money that the property can accommodate, that very property is their security. I want to talk about interest rates, a very sensitive area. And we are looking for money that is affordable. I'm going to tell you why. Our mortgage solutions are long-term. I talked about lending tenures of 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. So what does it mean? It means that we need money that is long-term to be able to give you a loan of 10 years, 15, 20 years. Now, there is a big challenge in raising that long-term capital. So we are looking for partners that can support us. Some of those that give us money, they give it to us at about 12%. So if we borrow money, if Housing Finance Bank borrows at 12%, then at what rate are we going to give you at? Do you understand? We can't use deposits to lend long term. Because deposits, when you put money in the account, my dear friend, the following day you want it back. So if I lend Frankina for 10 years, using her deposits, then what happens when she comes for her deposits? So there is a very big mismatch and the long-term financing solutions for mortgages. So that's why we are working hard and we are looking for partners. If you have any, please tell us. We are happy to get those affordable funds. If we got funds at 5% from the US, from the UK, or even here in the market, why wouldn't we give a mortgage at 10%? Why wouldn't we, you know? So in those developed countries, the sources of funding are very many and affordable. Someone can lend you at 1%, at 2%, at 3%. But in Uganda, where do you get those funds? And Haiti will tell you, I don't know where they get money to finance their projects. Maybe they can tell us, maybe they have a secret. But Mr. Semakula, that's the biggest challenge that we have. And if you know any partners that we can work with to bring money into the market, we are happy to do it. Otherwise, as it is now, when we talk about 16%, 17%, 18%, please understand that the cost of funds is very high for us. I hope I have answered that very well. Then in terms of raising money to do the work that Fakrudin is doing, I'm sure people like Fakrudin can work with you, pull resources from wherever they are getting cheap funds from. They can pull resources and why not? You put up some units. So thank you very much once again and enjoy the evening.